Satanic Panic. This book had me with the word Satanic Panic. Today we're going to talk about the book Rainbow Black by Maggie Thrash. Also, Maggie Thrash is a dope name. It just sounds cool. Anyways, I saw this book. It was black. It had a fluorescent pink goat on the cover, and I was like, cool, let's check it out, see what it's about. I picked it up and I looked at the back and it was like, takes place during the Satanic Panic, and I was like, I'm in. I didn't even need to read further. I was like, let's go. So this book takes place, it starts in 1983 when the Satanic Panic was happening and everything is Satan and hippies are bad. I don't know. So there's these people, they own the Rainbow Daycare and they have two daughters, Lacey and Eclair, and they live there. And these kids have been coming there for years and years, and they're hippies that run it. And, you know, there's a big rainbow painted on top. But all these accusations come out against them about Satan worship and the fact that they had like a small goat farm. They had like 6 goats. So they're like, oh, the goat is a sign of Satan. So obviously they're Satan worshippers and they're hippies, so they're weird. Then all these other allegations about the parents were sexually abusing these kids, this, that, and the other. And apparently at the same time, there's this like the stuff happening all over the country. A bunch of people and parents flipping out and saying it's Satan worship. And the 2 girls are like, no, none of this ever happened. We were there. But they have all these kids who made all these allegations, and it started with this one girl who had her memories regressed, but the people who regressed the memories led them. It was like suggestive leading. It's all these little kids, and they're answering how they think they want the psychiatrists kind of like want them to answer. Because this was a real thing that actually happened, the whole Satanic Panic and whatnot. I feel like most people know that, maybe some don't. You can Google it and look it up on the internet. But yeah, this family, there's a ton of allegations of like lewd sexual acts that were done to these children. And then they're saying like, Lacey was there while some of them were happening. They said all these weird things too about like stuff that was on the property, and no one finds any evidence of this anywhere except for these kids' testimony. But the testimony all seems like it was led. But it puts this whole crazy spotlight on this whole family. So you have the daughters and people and the press, and everyone's like in their face about all of this, and it's quite crazy. And when I read the synopsis, it kind of sounded like what I thought it was going to be. It was like you get a little bit of the backstory, what happened, and then you fast forward to present day where Lacey is now with her girlfriend and her life, and then somehow the past gets dredged back up. But a big chunk of the book is like what actually happens. So you go through most of like all the crap that happened to her over her life. Some of these people that bought into the Satanic Panic, it's so frustrating how they're so like, they're all holier than thou and so convinced that it was, you know, these kids were being abused even though they weren't, and they were kind of led on to that. And anyway, so I really enjoyed it. It's fast paced. I like the characters. It's intense. It's freaking wild. There is just all kinds of ridiculousness in it, and it's a really great read. It's part horror, it's part thriller. I say thriller just because of like the fast-pacedness of it. Like it was a very addictive read that I couldn't put down. All the stuff that kind of happened, and then too, like Lacey she's a lesbian, and at this time in her life when her parents were in jail, she's like 13, and so like of course, you know, the people in court try to spin it like, oh, that made her this way, being around her parents being these sexual deviant freaks or whatever who worship Satan. And she's like, no, that's not a thing. That's not why, this, that, and the other. And you have all these different elements to it. Makes for a great read. And like the one lawyer too on the other, like that was accusing the parents and stuff, she was really horrible. I wanted to punch her in the face. Also, fun fact, Satanists don't believe in Satan. You know who believes in Satan? Christians. Anyway, if you are a fan of weird thriller books, the next video coming up will be about another weird thriller, so stick around, check it out. And if you had fun hanging out today, hit that subscribe button, come back, see me again, and we'll talk about more bookish things and weird stuff.